Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you're listening to our show. That was pretty good, Tony.
Yeah.
We are absent one schmo here. Rob, Old Moanin' Rob, is doing just that, sitting dead stop on the freeway. There's a large accident, not in his car caused by him.
Or so you think.
Or maybe that is what happened. I'm not really sure.
That would explain him wanting to turn around and go home.
And he said, I'm going to turn around and go home. So maybe there's more to the story that we don't know. But, you know, the good thing is, Tony, that we have an outstanding guest tonight. Guest, who are you?
My name is Jeff Mark Leavitt with Tone Ranger Guitars. Thank you for having me.
Tone Ranger Guitars. That's correct. Yeah. Well, you already knew that. I was just reaffirming that. Sorry. Where can people go to check out the awesome things that you do, Jeff?
Well, you can go to tonerangerguitars.com. I'm also on Instagram, Tone Ranger Guitars. I tell myself that this year I'm going to start a little YouTube channel. I feel like that's something that every builder should do to kind of get their gear out there, do some videos and all that good stuff. But yeah, the website, the Instagram, give me a follow and drop me a line. Yeah.
Cool. We think you're going to be really pleased when you see the things that he makes. Well, it's unique. It's unique out there. It stands alone, I think. Or at least amongst a very small group.
Yeah.
We should say that. This bubbly water's got me. Hang on.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah, we have the grapefruit bubblies here, so you might hear a couple of those, you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to have a fun time talking with him. I got to catch up with him at Wood, Wire, and Volts. Yep, out in the Nam area, you know, golly, it's 2 months ago almost.
The neighborhood.
Yeah, no, that's about a month ago. It was a month ago.
Yeah, about a month.
It's a month, yeah.
Yeah.
Feels longer.
It does, which is also weird because it's flying so fast. So, yeah, I got to meet Jeff. We had a great chat. I would have loved to have talked to him more. The show was wrapping up, and Starcrawler was about to go on. So we shook hands and said, let's meet down the road, little doggies.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Yep. So we got one major announcement, I would say, maybe, Tony. We got something cooking here that I can't lead on too much, but I'm excited and I'm also a little bit terrified. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. We're trying to cook something up in this studio here.
Yeah.
And that's a little, it'll come out in the wash.
A little possum
Also,
stew.
we got this delightful little bag here. What's in the bag, Dad? This is from M2 Labs.
It says M2 right on the outside.
So we just had on the show their incredible pedal, the Bomber.
Ah, yes. It's the anti-clone T-shirt.
Yeah, front and back print, too.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it's on the back, too.
That's impressive.
Yikes. Oh, that's a big...
Most impressive.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, that's really good. And
yeah, these are featured on M2's website, too.
Yes.
And it's their answer to, I guess, it's really about the Bomber.
Yes.
And that's kind of the nickname or the moniker that they have given the Bomber.
Yes.
It's the anti-clone, as we learned from our podcast.
Yes. It's a nice big shirt. It'll match your 10-gallon underpants. Okay. So anyways.
No, those are Rob's.
So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
To M2 Labs for doing that. That was really kind. Very, very nice stuff. And go get yourself one over at M2 Labs. And, you know, I think you had a deal where, like, you got... I'm not going to say if there's any deals or not. Just go there. You get some good stuff.
There is a deal.
There is a deal.
Investigate the deal.
Okay. All right. We're going to get on with what's going on in our music world this week. We're going to start off with Tony Baloney, a.k.a. Tanya Bolonsky, the the guy.
Captain of the Titanic.
Yes. Tony, what's going on here?
Well,
you got a guitar bag.
Yeah, I brought a bag in because this actually just came today, believe it or not.
I believe it.
And as for the past, I don't know, 6 months
Okay.
or so, I've had my eye on a particular guitar.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Sire guitars. They make basses and guitars. But they rolled out a Larry Carlton series.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I've seen the reviews, read a whole bunch of stuff.
S-I-R-E or S-Y-E-R?
No, it's
or
S-I...
S-Y-H-E-R?
No, S-I-R-E.
Okay.
Sire.
Got it.
Yes, sire.
I got it.
So they
S-E-Y-E-R?
No.
Okay.
Stop it, Todd. But they came out. So this is kind of their entry level one, which I actually like. It's basically their homage to a Les Paul Jr.
Okay.
Single pickup P90, and for the longest time you couldn't find these things. There were people in Japan that were getting them and then trying to resell them here in the States for
By Sire?
By Sire.
Is it an old brand?
It's been around probably for at least 10, 15 years.
I got to investigate this while you're talking.
You go ahead. You investigate all you want. Okay. Anyhow.
Jeff, you listen to him. I'm going to investigate.
All right, sounds good. I'm on it.
So I'm a big fan of wraparound bridge P90 guitars, basically juniors. That's my deal. And I've been waiting for one to show up, and especially in TV yellow, which is my super favorite. There it is. That's the one. And finally, I just happened to be doing a quick search, and Musician's Friend had one that in stock, and I had some bonus points and stuff. So I said, well, I don't like paying full price for it, but in this case, full price is $399.
Yeah.
Now this is a set neck, mahogany body, TV yellow, pretty simple stuff, wraparound bridge.
It kind of looks like a Les Paul Jr.'s third cousin not removed.
Well, it almost has kind of a Supro look to it. The Supro guitars back in the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
The cutaway is a little bit different, but. So anyhow,
it's got almost an elongated body.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. Here, you can look at it.
All right. That's
and
pretty nice.
It's a very nice guitar. Now, there's a couple things that I need to mess with. And I find this, even Gibson screwed things up with wraparound bridges. They don't.
$399?
That's $399 that you're holding in your hands. The fretboard edges are rolled. The fret ends feel great. Yeah, it's got that. You got a little out of tune.
It's got that
okay.
perfect out of tuneness.
But
I love so much.
Yes, indeed. So the biggest issue that I have with it right now is that the action is still too high.
It is. Yeah, it's high.
And there's two solutions. One, I could. Take the string grooves in the wraparound down a little bit because it's excessively high, or I can just go with just a traditional like Gibson wraparound. Yeah. But I was just kind of shocked at what $400 gets you these days. And this is a wonderful instrument. They make a 2-pickup version. They make a ES335 style that's in that same Larry Carlton line. But it's a very comfortable guitar. It's very balanced.
It's got a medium neck.
Yeah. It's not like a big 50s.
Full on, but it's got it's a little wide.
Yeah.
Slightly a little wider.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for that ding.
What's the fretboard?
It's rosewood, but they actually put a black binding on the outside, and that's what they roll. Yeah, and the back.
It's got a satinized neck, which is kind of cool.
The neck is satin. The body is
nice little volute back here.
Yeah, it's very well thought out. But I guess what my point was, this happens with a lot of companies that do a wraparound bridge. They forget to compensate. I mean, in my book, you need at least an extra degree in the neck set.
Yeah, this is pretty flat.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the truss rod is adjusted properly, but if I just drop down the action at the bridge at the wraparound down by, not even an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, but it's already sitting on dang near on the body right now.
Yeah, but do you see how tall those
Sure,
the lightning bolt is?
compensations are, yeah.
So so there's two options, and I think I'm going to actually put a standard, just a straight wraparound on it.
Yeah,
So,
do that.
but
Or you could do the straight with the one. They've got it where it's like a
yeah,
just a straight bar
you
with
don't
one.
need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because then you could actually file the whole thing down. It wouldn't be a mess.
Yes. So anyhow,
Well, that's cool.
so I've got one. I'm relatively happy with this, and typically on guitars like this, I'll replace hardware anyhow. And with the wraparound in particular, I usually like to use Tone Pro's locking studs to hold the thing in place, keeps it from rocking upwards.
Yep.
But yeah,
You should put a Floyd Rose in it.
no, I won't put a Floyd Rose in it.
That's cool, Tony.
But yeah, for the money, not a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, considering what that would be if it wasn't. What does the headstock, the face of the headstock look like, real quick?
It's got like a silver inlay that says Sire, and then Larry Carlton's signature on it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's
Not bad.
It's pretty classy.
Yeah. Just like you, Tony.
Well,
Jeff, how about yourself? What's going on in your music world this week that isn't building guitars?
Well, I just got done helping out my very first dealer, Malibu Music. I
Nice.
kind of did some consulting work for them and kind of transformed the layout of the store. I have a background in photography also, so I set up their little photo studio so they can photograph guitars and all that good stuff. But they're a neat little outfit that just started up on Pacific Coast Highway.
yeah.
And they've been open for about a year now, and we're just trying to get the word out. But
Were they weren't hit by
they
the...
were not. Thankfully, no. PCH is still closed, but they're far enough west that they were not affected. We also, before the Palisades fire, a few months before that, we had a Malibu fire also near Pepperdine University, and it was a little dodgy there, but thankfully the store also survived that. So,
That's insane.
yeah,
That's insane.
wild.
Everyone thought it was going to be the big earthquake, right?
Yeah.
right. I know. Yeah, it's gonna be the
Well,
fire.
it's just, on a yearly basis, what catastrophe is happening in Malibu. So,
Right.
Like Malibu Barbie
no.
and Malibu
Nope,
Ken.
nope, Tony, nope. Nope.
I think those are
no,
catastrophes.
It's too cheap even for you. Cool.
The big thing out in Malibu is the mudslides. Houses built on cliffs, right on the ocean.
Yep.
But yeah.
It's an interesting area for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, for
What about you, Todd?
yes, there's a couple things.
Just one.
Just one. Okay. Well, three. No, I have to.
That
do
doesn't
two, 'cause
that
they're
doesn't
too
involve
small.
a podcast.
Yeah. So three. I've got three of the four pedals on the board for the next Four on the Floor episode.
Oh.
So I got a little bit of a head start, and I started playing with those.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Okay.
The other thing is, I found out, I didn't know this because I didn't bother checking. I'm a fan of discogs.com. Getting... It's basically the biggest vinyl database and buying and selling thing.
It's so the thieves know what to look for when they break into your house.
Yes. I doubt that that's going to be the case. I had been sitting there going, geez, I wish there was a way that I could have my, like my catalog. I need like a spreadsheet. So I have all the things. So when I go to a store, I'm like, wait, do I have this? Or what year is this? No. They've got it. So if you're a vinyl person, and I believe that the same holds true for like CDs and tapes even on Discogs. you can create your own library really, really easy. And you actually don't have to enter in a ton of stuff because they've already got the entire, like, everything that's ever been made there. So you just put in what you have and poof, and then you just go add to library. It was great fun.
Ah,
Yeah, so I sat there and listened to some records and did some data entry, and zenned out. It's not unlike building, just kind of going downstairs and doing soldering bits and building a pedal. It's just different. Anyways, they're doing fret work, I suppose, right, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. You gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
It can be tedious, but if you kind of zen out, it's meditative.
It's good stuff. So that's what's been. I got a twofer this time, Tony. Please allow it.
I will allow it, and we'll see if we have to edit out anything. We'll take one of them out.
Hey, speaking of those 3 of 4 pedals,
yes,
because we're waiting for one for a former guest,
and
I'm hoping that's going to come through.
Oh,
The easiest thing about that is I didn't even have to think about it. I just grabbed a handful of Tour Gear Designs patch cables and pop, pop, pop. They're all ready to go.
So did you have some that had top jacks to side jacks and side jacks
in this
to
case,
side
it
jacks?
was all top jacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I just had 3 little 3-inch hookups.
Does that seem to be the trend these days?
More
top jacks?
More often than not. It has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if you've...
Well, back in my day, we had MXRs and we had Ibanez's.
Yes. Needless to say.
Well, how did you hook them together?
Well, I plugged them in, Tony. That's how it works.
Using?
Do you use pedals much? Or?
No, I generally don't. But
yes.
You use these so-called Tour Gear Design patch cables?
Yes, indeed.
And these were the ones that connected top to top to top to
top to side to whatever you need to do. S shape, C shape, all the lengths and sizes.
I'm told that the part that plugs into the pedal is very small.
Very small. Extremely small footprint.
And the cable itself is very flat.
Right, so I have a tiny little nano board, and I can jam all these things on here, and it's not a problem.
You could afford more than a nano board.
Barely. Yes. Anyways, go to tourgeardesigns.com, load up your cart, put in the guitar knobs into the coupon. In the coupon code, you're going to save 15% off your order.
15%!
They're shipping from Canada, and they're going to get their lickety split.
Ooh.
Yes. So, thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
It's becoming a fan favorite, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Everybody misses.
We'll just keep
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
All right. Thank you, Jared, for that lovely little intro. Jeff from Tone Ranger Guitars. Let's talk about your 4 on the floor.
All right. Well, first one up is going to be a Ross compressor. Big fan of those. I used to have...
Is this the OG one or the reissue?
No, it's the reissue. I think it was really cool that they brought them back. It's a shame that they weren't so hot and had to get kind of the axe, but I love mine. And yeah, I used to have a Keeley 4-knob, and while that compressor, I can hear what it's doing more, and it objectively was a better compressor. I feel like the Ross just has a little bit of a sauce, It's got this thing that I really dug. I can't really express it, but it made me happy. It made me want to play more, and I think that's what gear should be all about, So yeah, Ross compressor I think would be my first.
Okay.
First one up. Yeah.
And you do you do a fair amount of? I mean, you're more of sort of a Bakersfield country western kind of guy, right?
I do. Yeah, I do like that stuff. The compressor is great for that, but I also really like kind of the funky stuff.
Okay.
I like a compressor that can make the guitar like a percussive instrument.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Good choice. How about number 2?
Well, number two would be a drive pedal, but I'm kind of having a kind of a crisis right now picking a drive because I just got a new amp. And I haven't really found the one that I have that really makes the amp do what I really want it to do.
What amp did you get?
I got a Magnatone panoramic stereo. I'm a big clean guy, and it's like just like all the copy says, it's like a 3-dimensional sound. It's beautiful. I love it. It's kind of one of these like dream amps for me, and I got one, and I love it. But the drive pedal I have a Maxon, just a OD9, and it's too mid-focused. It's almost a little muddy coming out of the amp.
Interesting.
And, yeah, I was a little surprised. So
Do you think it's the amp or the speaker?
that's a good question. Like when I turn the pedal off, it's exactly what I want the amp to sound like.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think I just need to find the right drive pedal. I think I may be looking at like a Benson preamp or something like that, but I haven't gotten my hands on one yet. I also have an OCD style drive pedal that is great through like my deluxe, but again, it's not quite giving me what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't even know
sounds
what
like an awesome problem.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
Like, no, I have to go through loads of drive pedals to find the one.
Right? Yeah, and it may be at the end of the day, I go
It
through.
might be two, actually.
It might be. It might be. It may be a DS1 in a metal zone, and I just don't do it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
might be it.
You could do that.
Well, that Benson preamp gets a lot of accolades.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
For
yeah.
sure. For sure.
So my number 2 is kind of a journey that I'm still on, but I know a drive has to be on the floor, one of those.
Gotcha. What was your previous amp of your go-to? Was it the Fender?
Yeah, it was a deluxe. I also use a UA Dream, and that thing is amazing. The Maxon and the OCD style pedal sound great through the Dream, and but yeah, I just want something for like a live rig that makes my amp sound the way I want it to.
Can't be mad at that. Well, how about
Right.
number 3?
Number 3 is going to have to be some sort of a slap back. Right now, I use a JHS Lucky Cat. I love it. It's pink, it's glittery, and it does exactly what I want it to do. It's fantastic. But I did just get one of the 3 series oil can delays.
Oh yeah, those just came out.
Yeah, I just ordered one from B's Music Shop, and should be here in a couple days.
Cool.
So yeah, that might be number 3 right there, but a slapback for sure.
All right.
Oh yeah. And then number 4 is going to be my Surfy Bear reverb, spring
Nice.
reverb, the full size, as big as a pedal board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Surfy Bear stuff sounds so good.
Yeah,
And the fact that they've been able to say, we can do it in all these different sizes, and they're still figuring out new ways to make that work.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I was really impressed when I tried a couple of them out at
Yeah.
the show.
We're still trying to get him on the show. He's a slippery fella. He travels a lot. I think that's kind of one of the big problems. And he's in Italy, so
Yeah, that makes
Right.
a little difference.
yes,
Ciao, Bella.
yeah.
Have you guys tried the new Dan Electro Spring King Jr.?
No.
It's a regular sized pedal, but it has a real spring in it. So back in the 90s, Dan Electro had the Spring King, and it was full size, and it was maybe like, I don't know, half the size of a Surfy Bear.
Yeah.
And it even had a little rubber pad on it where you can step on it to like kick the spring and that good stuff.
Yeah.
Even said kick pad on it. It was cool. But yeah, Dan Electro just released the new one, and it's like probably a little longer than like a Boss pedal, but it has a real spring in it, and it's pretty neat.
Wow. Yeah. It's now it's like a booster pedal size, like an
EP.
yeah, like an
EP
EP
boost?
drive. Is that the same one?
Oh no, that's no, this is not that small.
Okay, because this is a Spring King Jr.
That's Junior. Look for the Spring King.
Interesting.
Yeah, Spring King is a pretty big one, but no, the Junior's great. Pedalboard friendly.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's odd. I can't tell if it's. Yeah, these. Well, the ones that we're seeing seem to all be, very narrow.
Well, there's a
or is it
narrow
just
one.
tall?
I don't
It's
know.
tall. It is tall.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like it maybe spans the size of. Oh, we got to wrap our heads around this.
2 football fields.
What is this thing?
Oh yeah. Oh, I see the photos you're looking at now. It definitely does look like a mini pedal, but no, it's definitely not.
It's much larger.
It's kind of like an Origin effects pedal. How that's kind of taller than
Yeah.
other pedals. It's
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Wow, and those are going for about $200, and you can actually get a 2000 Spring King with the pad for about $200 as well. That's kind
There
of
you
cool.
go. But at the end of the day, it's no Surfy Bear.
No.
But
No,
it's
I can't
fantastic
imagine.
for that price point.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool. I'm gonna have to dig into this a little bit.
Yeah.
We can rig one, get one somehow.
I think we could probably do that.
Yeah, that might. I mean, we'll probably have. Well, we will for sure have a 4 on the floor spring reverb deal at some point in time.
Well, spring is almost upon us.
Spring is almost here. Maybe that's the one we do after this next one. Why not?
There you go.
Good point, Tony. All right. Well, thanks so much, Jeff. That was, we always learn something new about some kind of new pedal.
Yeah.
And that's one of our favorite things about doing
I
that.
did not realize that Dano reintroduced these.
Yeah.
There you go. Happy to help.
So let's get on with talking about these fantastic guitars that you make. Hopefully, everybody, all that you've had a chance to get on over to Tone Ranger Guitars. If you haven't, now's a great time to do it because we're going to start talking about them. In front of us is a lovely brochure, and it's dang near a magazine of the works the things that you do. Really, really well done and on point for your brand. Tony said, "I wonder why he went with these this style image with the halftone sort of thing from the old printing."
And then Todd just dismissed me.
I did because I'm like, dude, that's the vibe. You clearly have inspiration from sort of 50s stylings, 50s country western, Bakersfield, California kind of thing. When I was looking at this, I thought you really should figure out how to do a little clip where you got Ralphie, who's got the Red Ryder, and this is I could see some kid back in the day having this under his pillow and just looking at because like, oh, what am I gonna get for Christmas? One of these guitars. It's
right.
It's right in the same vein.
You're going to shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah. So you obviously went down a path of theme, a big theme here. What drove that?
Well, my wife and I are both really into mid-century modernism, and living in LA, we're kind of surrounded by it. Even the apartment buildings around here are unique to the area. They're called dingbats for the ornamentation that they would put on the front facades of these apartment buildings. And it's this space age, futurism kind of look that I really, really liked. Fender was doing a lot of this kind of stuff in the 50s with a lot of their catalogs. Even the designs like the Jazzmaster or the Firebird, Gibson stuff, the Explorer, all of these guitars are perfect examples of mid-century modernism and that space age dream, And while they're like classics to us now, they were cutting edge back then.
Yeah.
The Telecaster, Stratocaster, all these solid guitars.
Yeah.
And then, Silvertone was also making their stuff, and they'd put out catalogs like this. And that's just the kind of look I really wanted to tap into, that vibe,
Yeah. Well, and it's, if you don't know your history, back then. Tony and I are quite familiar with it because we grew up with TV shows and all the
Yep.
slower moving things when we were growing up. But if you look at this, you wouldn't say necessarily come to, oh, this is futurism and space age stuff.
Right.
You'd think this is old timey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the 50s it had 1 foot in the future, quite literally space age, and it had 1 foot in the great Western expansion still.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and all of the great Westerns came out at that era, right? So we were enchanted by this idea of the Great West and the adventure and freedom and vastness and all the kitchen accoutrement that came along with those things. And at the same time, we are also being enchanted by the promise of everything unknown and space age in the future and everything. So
Exactly.
your guitars totally embody the collision of those two things.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going for. All of that, like the singing cowboy stuff going on too.
Yeah.
Like Hop Along and Gene Autry and all that stuff. It was great. This melding of, like you said, the future and this idealized Western expansion that we had. And
I love the you opted for sort of an Indian motif, Navajo kind of blanket designs
logo
for the logo and for the truss rod covers. And you could tell you just had a lot of fun putting these together.
It was great, yeah.
And everyone has got a little something different, and most of them look like the top of Grandma's wagon wheel kitchen table.
Right? Yeah. Now, I feel like there's a lot of like Western branded things, but I really wanted to go like a step beyond, and all of the wood is local to LA and the surrounding counties. So every guitar is like a little piece of the West. So it's not just for looks, it's a real deal.
Tell us a little bit more about this, because this is something that we engaged talking in like right out of the gate. The wood.
Yeah. The wood, very important. Every piece of wood I use has been sustainably sourced, and it's what's called urban grown wood. I don't know if you remember, but Taylor a little while ago put out a few acoustic guitars featuring urban ash back and sides. And the arborist they worked with was Street Tree Revival in Anaheim. And that's the same arborist I use. And I also use Angel City Lumber. They're another really great arborist. So in the past, let's say a tree that grew up on a street or grew in a park or somewhere in the city, if it were felled, it would usually get cut up right on site and thrown into a landfill.
Yeah.
Now
chipped.
I work exactly chipped right on site, thrown away. And now these arborists are realizing that, hey, our like municipal forest has a lot of really wonderful, usable lumber in it. So they'll get the contracts from the city, they'll go out and they will give these trees a second life. It's very different than, we're just going to go cut down trees. These are trees that like had to be felled for a particular reason.
Right.
Let's say like the roots are tearing up a sidewalk or has a disease and needs to be felled before it falls over naturally. So it's sustainably sourced lumber that in the past was bound for the garbage. And I'm proud to, turn these members of our community back into, guitars that people can play.
What kind of woods are you using currently?
So I'm using a lot of black walnut, usually for necks. We got red gum eucalyptus. We have California redwood. We have some liquid ambar, black acacia. I even have a slab of black acacia that I can tell you the exact address where that tree grew up. And it's beautiful wood that most people never see in a guitar. and it's great. And all the fingerboards are local Indian rosewood as well. But the Indian rosewood trees here grow so small that there's a lot of beautiful sapwood stripes mixed with the heartwood. So it's not especially dark, and you get this really cool white stripes mixed in there. So it's neat.
Neat.
Very neat.
You know, where I lived, I grew up in Long Beach, California, and then moved out to Huntington Beach. But in Long Beach, our whole street was, in front of every house was a jacaranda tree.
Oh, yeah.
And for those that don't know what that is, those trees are a menace to society.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're beautiful. They've got these beautiful purple flowers on them that just drip sap and then fall on the sidewalk and then drip sap on the sidewalk and leave. It's awful, and it's a nightmare to ride a skateboard around there. Do those? I'm just out of curiosity. Have you ever? Is that wood usable? I
don't know. I haven't experienced it it hasn't been for offer by the arborists that I work with. I haven't seen it.
They
I don't
probably
even
would chip them out of anger.
Maybe, yeah, just totally yeah.
No, that is interesting. We were also mentioning when you said, black walnut. I was like, holy mackerel, we've got black walnut up the wazoo here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of a menace to our society here.
Yeah, I hear it's kind of like invasive.
Because if they take root, you got to fight really hard to get that out, and that they drop so much seed that you got to keep on top of it around your house, or else you're going to get roots starting to get, messing with your basement and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. We have a sweet gum tree in the front yard that has those little spiky balls. Yeah. And it is just a nightmare to keep up after those, because it's. But yeah, walnut I think is a great choice for wood. Because I think tonally it has similar characteristics to maple, and in fact, like Rickenbackers, they usually sandwich walnut and maple together for like when they're making necks and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they even have some all walnut bodies.
You're right. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful wood. Yeah, I love using it. It tools very easily. It sands easily, and if it was good enough for Sam Maloof, it's good enough for me.
Yes, that's got to be a T-shirt somewhere.
Now, do you tend to go more with solid bodies, or have you hollowed them out a little bit, or get a little weight relief?
So redwood is very light. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of clients that are a little older, and they have some, they can't have the 11-pound Les Paul out there on the show anymore.
Yep.
Going all night. So I've built some guitars that are solid with redwood, and it's easily like 3 to 4 pounds lighter than other.
It's crazy how light that stuff is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But recently I started doing kind of like a thin line thing where I don't fully hollow out everything, but I have enough of a cavity where I have a little F-hole. And I designed a little cactus and moon F-hole.
It's a great motif.
Yep.
You saw it at the show, and it's really cool. I love it. And it was my wife's idea to put some black paint in there with some black glitter. So with the light just right, it's kind of like a little starry sky in the inside your F-hole. Inside your guitar, you got the whole sky in there.
Yeah.
What kind of finishes are you using?
Exactly. I've been using. It sounds strange when I first say it, but I use a walrus oil. That's just the name of the brand, and it's a polymerizing oil, kind of like boiled linseed oil. It's a hand rubbed oil finish.
Oh, okay. So like a gun stock.
Like a tongue oil.
True
kind
oil,
of
or true, yeah.
Exactly, okay. True oil, but it's their own kind of little proprietary blend that they brew up. And I could be wrong, but I think they're maybe out of Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brew it here in America, and I think they're out your way. But yeah, that stuff's been really great. But I'm thinking I'm going to be moving to a French polish because I don't want to use any kind of like nitro or anything with like a lot of VOSs in it. My shop's in a 1-car garage connected to my apartment, so I don't want to make a bunch of like a toxic cloud,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And, I don't have the capacity for a spray booth, so I may start moving in that direction. But yeah, for right now, it's just a hand rubbed oil finish.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and that does, I mean, there's so much character in the wood that you're using, and it's one of those that's like, yeah, of course you want to see that in this
Right.
style of a guitar.
Yeah, like the wood, and it has a story to tell too. I don't want to cover up that grain,
Yep.
so it's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I commented on to Tony was when I picked up one of yours, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I immediately was like, ooh, I kind of like this soft V.
Yeah, the soft V. Every neck is carved by hand, so each one is going to be a little different. But that soft V is something that I really dig, and that's kind of the shape that I always shoot for. Doesn't always happen, but
Yeah.
when it comes out, it really comes out.
Yeah, I think I picked up one that was more like a soft W, but no, I'm just kidding.
Ouch.
Minimum friction, you know? And then you are using are you using a specific woods for the fretboard, or are you staying with certain ones, or are you using everything?
So, like redwood, for instance, can only be used for a body because it's so soft. Black walnut, I can use that for kind of anything. My fingerboards are all Indian rosewood, just because I think that's what a lot of people like to see and kind of expect, you know. And but yeah, so the hardness kind of comes into play to, to determine what I use
Yeah.
what role the wood plays.
Another touch that I really like, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn it looked like little turquoise inlays.
Yep.
And that is something that is, I remember having a little box of goodies and stuff, and out by my grandparents' house in Lancaster, there was an old like defunct gold mine, like ghost town in gold mine.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And we went out there and we did the panning and everything, and they gave us what I still have it. It's a little tiny vial with just a little bunch of gold dust in it. But they also had turquoise that you could get, and turquoise just fascinated me as a little kid because it's like it was associated with this great big West and everything I was seeing on TV and movies, just like these guitars. So what a awesome, thoughtful touch that is, because to me that's the thing that kind of wraps it all up in a bow.
The quintessential Western look.
It absolutely is. Yes.
Was that little ghost town like the Calico?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah, out near Barstow on the way out to Vegas.
Yep.
It's still there. You can take a little mine train and
Calico gold mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Calico Ghost Town, I think it was called.
Maybe you can take your little vial back and see if it's worth it.
I want a refund. Yeah. So let's see. What kind of pickups are you using in these amazing guitars of yours?
So I'm using Lawler, TV Jones, and I got some Curtis Novaks as well. Those are my three.
Well, he
main-
kind of forced you to put them in there, didn't he? I mean,
No, it was actually I got the pickups, and then we started talking, and then
he's very persuasive.
Now, Curtis makes some great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
Yeah,
I've
that's a cherry on top of this thing.
Yeah.
right
On top of the icing and the bow.
And a bow to boot.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're using like Mastery for a lot of the models, Mastery Bridge and Tailpiece.
Yep. I also just recently got some Descendant bridges.
Yes, I've used those too, and they I hate to say it because I do like Mastery, but they kind of take the Mastery to the next level. I mean, you get that better break angle
Interesting.
on the strings. So yeah, I think you'll be happy after you try them.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm gonna put one on a Basics and then another one on a high horse model, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Now on the bass 6, are you going to use? Did they make a little bit wider bridge for the bass 6? Yeah, wider meaning from bridge to nut. Because I know like a lot of the original bass 6s, like Fender bass 6s, have just so that the string, you have more intonation adjustment.
Right. I haven't run into that problem with the Masteries yet.
Okay.
They seem to be totally fine. But yeah, I know they made the basics ones. The plates are much wider.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But yeah, like I said, Masteries do a great job keeping the intonation.
Now, what is your on the? Are you going to have it more like a baritone or a full octave bass 6?
It's a full octave bass 6,
Nice.
so it's 30 inches, and but because it's at 30 inches, you could put baritone strings on it and just set it up as a baritone.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, it's kind of a bass 6 and a baritone, depending on what strings you put on there.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh well, that's kind of like.
Well, let me ask. What was your first model?
The first one I made, Tone Ranger #1, was a double barrel. So that's my take on the double cut. And so yeah, that's #1. But
that kind of surprises me, I think, a little bit. Now,
it was a.
Did you were you like right out of the gate? Did you go for this motif?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I had a lot of guitars planned. The kind of Western motif you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I had several plans already made. I had model designs. I even had names, and but the reality is, the first client wanted one of these, so it was like, well, that's what you get. You want a double cut?
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's the one that you have on the website. That one's a black walnut, right?
Of which one? I put all of my builds up on the website. What are you looking at?
I'm sorry. I'm going down. There's 5 verticals in sort of a stagger.
Why don't you?
Oh, okay. On the homepage.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that double cut with the figure on top, that is black walnut.
Okay. And with that one, I think you actually had that, either that one or a similar one, because I remember all the gold hardware sitting on that black. Is like, that was really gorgeous.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I used to not like gold hardware. But then I really got into it. And I still feel like it kind of goes with the whole Western motif.
Yeah.
But that particular one, it was at the show. Now it's up at Thunder Road. In Seattle. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thunder Road picked me up and because of that show. And it was great, So I got Tone Rangers in Portland and in Seattle.
That's awesome.
Including that one right there.
Roughly how many do you do a year?
So this is a very new endeavor. I've only been around for maybe about a year and a half building. So
about a year and a half.
Yeah. So there are 35 of them right now.
That's pretty good.
Out there. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm about to launch into the next 10. I had a seismic retrofit done on my workshop, so I couldn't do anything for several months. Hence that little bit of consulting work I was doing for Malibu Music.
Right.
Timing really worked out. But in March, I'm back to making some sawdust, including 6 that are going to be a very fun collaboration with Lawler and Deco Boom. Are you guys familiar with Deco Boom?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, they make great stuff. I've used several of his pick guards on my guitars. And the one that Sean loves, Sean from Edge of Breakup, there's this one Desert Star model I have with a Deco Boom pickguard on it that has like a Western kind of Navajo pattern to it.
Yes.
And Lawler was talking to him about putting out a Regal wide range humbucker with an open top. And he had the idea of putting that pickguard material on top of the pickup. So he reached out to me about that. I went out to Deco Boom, talked to him, and then we were all talking about this. So when Lawler drops the open top Regal, which isn't really like publicly out there yet, we're going to kind of do a launch with these series of Desert Stars. So it's going to be really cool to have that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that pickguard material goes straight onto the pickup. It's going to look great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is a really, really eye-catching one, the specific motif that you're talking about. I was drawn to that right away.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because I'm looking at some of these things, and I think I actually mentioned when we were there, I'm like, oh my gosh, Tony's going to just lose his mind when he sees these guitars.
No, I do. I mean, I really do like the designs. I mean, it's definitely right up my alley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure. So are you staying with these models? You bringing any new models? You got new ideas? What's going on?
So I think this core 6 models is pretty good for right now. But what I'm thinking of doing is offering different scale lengths for each one. So right now I use a 24 3/4 scale length for the guitars and a 30 for the basics / baritones. But I have slotting templates for 25.5 and 24. So I think it might be kind of a cool thing. Also a 34 for a bass. I think it'd be cool that, like, if you like a particular model, you can just pick whatever scale length they're into. And
I like a 54.
54, excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
Try finding a case for that one.
Maybe one of those coffin cases.
Yes. Yeah, it's a stand-up Telecaster. This is crazy.
So, in terms of how you're cutting bodies and necks and things, are you using traditional like templating or CNC equipment or?
So I don't have a CNC, and I wouldn't even know how to use it if I did. I don't have room for one. A lot of people tell me, like, oh, your life would be so much easier if you had a CNC, just, to batch these parts out. And I'm like, well, so it's all bandsaws, table saws, routers. It's all hand done. And like I said before, every neck is hand carved with rasps and, chisels. So
my mouth is a little bit open right now because honestly, I was really, really impressed with the fit and the finish of the woodwork. When I thought sure that these were all, that you were, CNCing them because they're just, there's no, oh yeah, that one's clearly handmade, because sometimes handmade, especially if you're like, yeah, it's old timey and it's handmade and it's old wood. It's like, well, those three things can often add up into, this is gonna hang on the wall. No.
Right? Yeah. Thank you. That really means a lot to me.
This is absolutely like pristine fit and finish. Tolerances on everything. I was thoroughly impressed when I picked it up. I never in a million years would have guessed that, like, you're doing this in an apartment with hand tools and bandsaws.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There's a couple times where I use a lot of templates, on like a pin router, but I do want to give a little shout out to my local library where they have a free laser cutter. And I've designed like my headstock on Adobe Illustrator, and then I would just get like a laser cut template, and then I run that through a pin router. So yeah, but other than that, most of it's all by hand. Oh, the F hole, that's a laser cut at the library. So go check out your library. You never know what they may have. We got 3D printers, we got laser cutters, all free to use. So
not
That's
bad.
nice.
Well, this is super cool, man. I was just absolutely tickled when I saw this kind of thing, because it definitely it brought me back to certain elements of my childhood and growing up, which doesn't mean that these are kiddie guitars. I was looking up at people, on the movies and everything, and it brought me back to California desert and all that great stuff, and they feel fantastic too.
Thank you. Ryan at 60 Cycle Hum did a video for me, and when I was watching it, I was grinning ear to ear. He was super nice, and he said that these guitars make him nostalgic for something that he never knew he was.
Mm-hmm.
And that, really made me smile, because it was the same for me. These, the singing cowboys and the mid-century modernism.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff in our history, it's nostalgic for people.
I brought this up on a podcast probably maybe 5 or 10 ago, but I kid you not, when I first saw your guitars and then got the pamphlet from you, it made me think of this. So I went to Palm Springs when I was a little kid, and we did the skyline thing.
Oh yeah, the gondola that goes up the mountain.
Yeah, which was far more terrifying back in the 70s. I promise you. But my pride and joy as a kid was this like leather zipper wallet that had like a Western motif on it that was stamped.
Oh, cool.
And it absolutely made me think of that. And I was like, oh, wait, I know that. I this isn't like strange to me. It felt good. So
yeah,
you're clearly having an effect on a lot of people in that way. And that's pretty cool.
The whole like tooled leather, stamped leather idea, I love that stuff too. Kind of like on a Gretsch Roundup, the leather work around the sides. And I was hoping to have it at the show, but just time got away from me and I couldn't get to it. But this year I'm really hoping to collaborate with Codina Leather out of Las Vegas, who does this beautiful hand tooled and stamped leather work, and to make some pickguards for me, and also some of the body edging, just like on a Roundup.
Yeah.
And he even has one of the original stamps that has a little Gretsch cow on it that they procured back in the 50s to make those guitars. So he has one of those, and I'm hoping to maybe get some of that on my guitars too.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah. I literally just pointed at the at the guitar pickguard, and I made the stamping motion right before you said that. I'm like, oh man, that would look amazing. I love that idea. That's cool.
If you do any leather work, Tony, I'd love to work with you.
He does different kind of leather work.
Now.
More of like a Tom of Finland.
Yeah.
So now, do you have like a price range for typical on the guitars?
Sure. So I try and make it pretty simple. It's just $3,500.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
That's easy to remember.
Oh yeah, and
even for the double neck.
Oh right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You know what? When the double neck comes out, it's going to be 35.
Yeah. There you go. Whoa! I'll take one.
It will never come out. And, or maybe you'll get the only one that's 35.
No, that's that. I mean, I think that given the amount of work and the quality and the componentry that goes into these, I think that's a more than fair price.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Super cool stuff, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to get out there a little more, get some more dealers. I have 4 right now. Like Thunder Road was huge to get them. And so they're 2 stores. And growing up in California, do you know of Lightning Joe's Guitar Heaven up in Arroyo Grande?
No. I do not know that, no.
Another wonderful shop up there. And kind of like off the beaten path a little bit. Not a lot of people stop in Arroyo Grande.
Right.
It's like south of San Luis Obispo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great shop. all family run. Lightning Joe himself is the luthier there, and he's got his whole family running the shop. It's great. And my family is from the Central Coast, and it's great to have him also as a dealer. It was fantastic. And then, of course, my first was Malibu Music, and that Desert Star that you were really taken by, that Sean is obsessed with, is currently available over at Malibu Music as well. Not to kind of sound like a advertisement right now, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we just went to Lightning Joe's Guitar Heaven, and you featured right in the middle as a giant Tone Ranger Guitars logo. So well done there.
There you go. Thank you.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
they're a great hidden gem. Lots and lots of guitars, and anyone should go check them out if you're
Super
in the
cool.
area.
And stop into Solvang and get some great pastries.
There you go. Yeah, you can make a day trip out of it.
Yeah.
Come down from San Francisco or up from LA, and it's fantastic.
Too cool. Well, thank you so much, man. I really hope that we turn a few people on to Tone Ranger. I know that Tony and I are instant fans of this, and we're just so glad that you're doing what you're doing, and we're doing it really, really well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me know when you guys are ready to spec some out. And I'll,
Yeah, Tony's already doing that right now.
there you go.
All right, Tony,
Yes, Todd.
what do we got?
I don't know. Do you have a button to push?
Well, I think it's time for
Would you rather?
yes.
Walt Disney would love that.
I know. Let's go.
So, Todd, the Would You Rather game.
Yes.
It's a game we like to play every episode. And it goes kind of like this.
Uh-huh.
This was sent to us by our good friend Bob Crouch.
Bob Crouch coming in for the win.
Thank you.
Saving me from your awful... No, I'm just kidding.
So, Todd, I know you're a fan of transition music between scenes.
Again?
No.
Okay.
This one is called Sound versus Sight. You've been hired as a guitarist for a big rock and roll tour. Your manager, Colonel Bruce Bacon, we know him, has offered to pay for 2 new touring guitars. You're given the choice between 2 independent luthiers. No big brands allowed. No siree, Bob. This is Boutique City. Luthier number 1 will build you 2 perfectly set up, great playing, and roadworthy guitars, but you have no say on the body shape, looks, woods, and color finish of the guitars. You can only choose your favorite hardware, bridge, and pickups.
Okay.
Luthier number 2 will also build you 2 perfectly set up, great playing, and roadworthy guitars, but you have no say on the bridge, pickups, or hardware selections. You only get to have input over the body shape, the looks, the woods, and the color and the finish of the guitars.
Ooh, this is a really good one.
Which would you rather?
Yes. Jeff, I hope you were paying attention to that. And we can...
I was.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So
Well,
option
it'd be
1...
interesting to hear from a luthier standpoint,
Well,
too.
I think so. So option 1 is, both of these guitars are perfectly set up. They sound great.
Yep.
And they play great. But option 1, you can only choose the hardware, bridge, and pickups. Option 2, you can only choose the shape, the woods, and the color and finish. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you guys a little time to think about this. So, it's been often said that half of the guitar's tone comes from the wood
Yeah.
and the other half is from the components.
Right. And the other half is from your fingers.
Yes. That makes 3 halves. So, I'm thinking...
This is a really tough one.
It's a tough call because I am a wood aficionado.
Yeah.
meaning the types of woods that go into guitars.
Yes.
And I know that you can destroy a perfectly good guitar with, say, EMG pickups or something like that.
Okay.
I threw up a little, sorry. Man. I think I'm going to go with option 2. I want to pick the shape, the wood, and the color and the finish. And I will trust luthier number 2 to do his best to make a good combination of hardware pickups
Yeah.
that go along with this wood.
Okay.
So that's me.
Gotcha. Number 2. All right. Jeff, how about yourself? What are you doing?
I feel like I am luthier number 2. Like when someone goes to see one of my guitars, it's really the shape and the look that draws them in. And then they kind of trust me, like you said, that I will pick the right pickups and the right hardware. And I think the element of trust and taste has to come into play, especially at like a boutique level. But, if you get a guitar and you really just don't like the look of it, you might not play it. You might not want to be seen with it.
Or it's like some star-shaped ABBA guitar or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Or a strap.
Like I'm sure there's some beautiful Warlocks out there, but I don't want to play them. They probably sound and feel great, but
Now wait a minute. A Warlock with a Tone Ranger motif would be amazing. Come on. That sounds I think that's a challenge to you. I'm just saying.
I actually have a funny story about a Warlock. I don't mean to derail the
please.
hypothetical. Okay.
We're all about derailing.
Yeah, hyperbole is par for the course.
Yes.
So several months ago, maybe about 6 months ago, this pair of clients came in, this man and a woman, and had a Warlock headstock break, right? And I'm like, cool, we'll fix it up. But the body was beat. The body was beat. And it had this wear pattern as if someone took like sandpaper or a fork to the entire body and just carved just scratches in like all over it. And the wear pattern was really like systematic and methodical.
Wow.
Very interesting.
And maniacal.
Maniacal. But, they were super nice guys, a man and a woman, super nice. And I fixed it up. They left. There you go. The other day, this was only like 4 days ago, I'm on Instagram, wasting my time, wasting my life on Instagram. And I saw this local goth event happening, and there was this like great Instagram audio going with it, this cool song. I'm like, oh, hey, this song is kind of cool. And, I clicked on it, and it's like from this band, Patriarchy. I'm like, oh, yeah, they're great. And they're local to here. And I go onto their their Spotify page, and I see them. It's a man and a woman in like horror makeup. And then I see this BC Ridge.
Oh, no.
With this beat wear pattern. And I'm like, what? This can't be this can't be it. I couldn't recognize them because of their makeup. But I dug through my texts and went way back and actually found the exchange. And I was like, hey, how's the BC Ridge holding up for you? And the guy was like, great. I'm going on tour in Europe next in a few months, and that's going to be the real test. And I'm like, hey, that's great. By the way, are you guys Patriarchy? And he's like, yes.
We are Patriarchy.
We are. But yeah, no, they make great music. If you're into that
cool.
That kind of stuff, check them out.
Well, see, that wasn't a waste of your time on Instagram because you got to see that guitar in action.
No, yeah, I guess so. But
back to the dilemma that we have at hand.
Yes.
Are you going with option 1 or option 2?
Me?
You.
Oh yes, me. I'm gonna go with 2.
Okay. Yeah. I know that you hinted at that. I wanted a firm answer.
Oh yeah. Now, another thing to consider, you said you get to pick the shape. Does that include the neck profile as well?
I feel like it's everything but the hardware
Yeah.
and electronics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Then it's like, because those other things can be swapped out. You can't swap out the body shape. You can't swap out the neck profile. So,
You're right.
you know,
Too true. Too true.
yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going for option number 2 because my luck, I would get stuck with a Strat or something like that, and I just that would make me ill. I'm
gonna buy you a
definitely
Strat.
doing that, and that's a fun thing to think about, because I think we all hope that depending on what the shape and style, they'd be like, I got you covered.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting here thinking about Bob Crouch, that was a really, really good one. Thank you for sending that in.
It made us think.
Yes, it did, Jeff. I just had a brief idea that I'm blowing it into the wind here. Okay, on a good old style pocket knife, the sort of like gouged bone handles.
Yes.
Just putting it out there. just pick guard.
All right.
That would look killer. I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Do we know anyone that makes pick guards?
No.
Maybe here?
Tony's like, no, look at me. I'm not doing that.
Hey, I don't have that much time on my hands.
Yeah. Yes.
No, that's a good
They
idea.
want to start being a pen pal with an inmate or something. Maybe they.
Well,
Anyhow, well, thank you, Bob, for sending that our way. That was a ton of fun, and we got a couple more in the mail. So I'm looking forward to that. Our next one is going to be from Mike Nazionale. Yeah. So if you got some ideas, some wacky, crazy ideas that you want to get your Would You Rather, and please send it to us. We'd love that. All right, we need to thank a few people, Tanya.
That's right, because at this point of the show, Todd is a special group of people that we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? It's real easy. Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate and become a sponsor, a friend, a hero, if you will, of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win some great stuff. We have giveaways. I mean, they're all over the place. Our prize closet is literally, we had to put a chair in front of it to hold the door shut.
Indeed.
But in addition to all that great stuff, there is one thing more, and we don't have a button for it.
Oh, that's the thing.
That was the thing.
Yeah. I'll work on that.
Work on that, would you? Come on.
Yes.
You got some spare time.
Get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers.
All right.
Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pampas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Elad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Rare Buzzer Effects, John Sebastian, John Halverson, Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport, Owen Eads, Plutone, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Brazen, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, and Vader Pedals.
Fantastic.
But wait, there is more, Todd, because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grand Poobahs.
Yes.
Now,
They are all currently traveling across the Great California Desert in a giant orange Airstream trailer.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like that idea. Is
having a ton of fun.
Is there enough room
They
for all
just
of them
did
in
a
there?
Live Instagram stream.
Is it almost, I bet it's like multiple trailers hitched together.
No, it's just a really long one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Grand Poobahs.
Yes.
So these are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones, and they wear a fez upon their head whilst listening to the podcast. So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Anthony Gemolero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Mike Nazionale, Amun Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wow Pickups, and Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs.
Yes. Thank you guys so very much. It is truly helping us out, and we'll continue to keep this thing going. If you have been thinking about it, think no more.
Do it.
Do. And join our happy
Family
yes
of
people. All right. So we need to say a huge thank you to Jeff Leavitt from Tone Ranger Guitars for hanging out with us on the show and talking about all things that were making me and Tony feel all warm and fuzzy inside nostalgically.
That's great to hear. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Where can you point people to go get these things?
Well, so the website, tonerangerguitars.com, you can go on there and you can see all of my builds, even the ones that sold, just so you can take a look at them all. But each one will have a little button, and that will take you to the dealer where it's located.
Nice.
Or you can drop me a line. And yeah, I also, do custom builds. If anyone has a, particular set they don't want to deal with luthier 1 or 2. They want to be, they want to pick everything themselves. And but yeah.
Okay.
And also, I am still doing free guitar work for anyone affected by the Palisades or Eaton fires. Please, again, drop me a line. It's tonerangerguitars@gmail.com. And yeah, I'd be happy to, help out members of my music community here who even if you didn't lose anything, if you had to evacuate and now you get back and your guitar is all weird, I'd be happy to take a look at it. So please let me know.
That is
nice. Thanks for doing that.
Absolute gentleman for doing that.
Of course, it's like the literal least I can do. So yeah.
Hugely appreciated, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. Sorry, Tony. That's who I meant to talk to.
Hi, Todd. I'm still across the
Hi,
table
Tony.
from you.
Yeah. Where can people find you, Tony?
It's simple. Go over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make custom pick guards for guitars. How do you get one? Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what you need, the material, pickups, all the stuff. Just let me know. I'll make something special for you. It's your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
Exactamon. And you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. We'd love to hear from you. Just say hi. Tell us what's going on. Introduce yourself. Let's just start talking.
Come up with a would you rather.
Give us a would you rather.
Tell us what's on ear for on the
yeah,
floor.
Whatever, man. And if you guys are out there, we don't know everybody that's out there. We're constantly turning over rocks and finding new people to have on the show. And we are absolutely up for suggestions. Now, granted, not everybody works out. Not everybody wants to do the podcast. Shocking. But, we'll do our best to make sure it's a good fit for us. And we'd love to, if you got suggestions, we'll hear them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a great time. I hope you have too. I hope you check out these guitars. I hope you have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Yeah.
How would you like us to address you, sir?
I think Jeff would be fine.
Should we maybe use Sir Jeff Mark Leavitt?
That's I think that
Commodore.
Commodore. I love it.
So we just got a message from Rob, who is our third wheel here. Okay. There's an accident just short of him getting off the freeway, so he's going to be a few minutes late. But But, we just got on and just started
Did he say what
talking.
kind of accident?
I think it's like doo-doo.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
He had an accident.
He had. Yeah, maybe that's what he meant.
Oops.
A little oopsie.
Putting out there that like I'd be doing free guitar repairs for anyone affected by the fire.
Oh,
And
that's really cool, man.
least I could do to give back to the local music community that I'm a part of.
Did you have that little asterisk that says, I've never done these, but I'm willing to
Right?
My dad's got a set of tools. I can fix it. Let's not get into that.
Oh, let's get into it. Come on.
No.
Come on.
Sort of in lieu of like say, not having to commit to a bunch of stuff on YouTube, because honestly, I'm just like, I have a full-time job. I've got 3 kids. I'm in a band. I do this full-time. So it's like, I just couldn't commit to, cool, I'm going to do web, YouTube-based demo stuff.
I thought this was for your OnlyFans page.
Yeah, it is. So
I threw you.
yeah, you did throw me off.
But yeah.
I got roasted for not having a dog on the last episode. So
Well,
you hate dogs.
I don't hate dogs. I don't need dogs. I don't love dogs. I don't come up to other people's dogs and go, "Oh, what a cute dog." I've had dogs.
Yeah.
I can give you 99 reasons why I don't need a dog.
And
I can give you one, which is my kids really want one. But they've also heard my other 99 reasons.
Yeah.
I just got a message from Rob. He said, 8 o'clock ETA, this is a bad accident. I'm just going to turn around when I can. He's completely stuck. He's not moving. So, okay, let me just give him a heads up here.
Just say,
wait, we'll
didn't
just move
we don't
on.
need you
Okay.
anyhow.
Well,
You're an idiot.
and away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.